So did you know that Afghanistan and Pakistan are fighting? Well, they are. And apparently the Afghan Taliban government in Kabul has declared that the border dividing their country from Pakistan, also known as the Durand Line, doesn't actually exist anymore. They're saying the border is just not a thing. Taliban officials have called it an imaginary line imposed by colonial powers, and one minister even claimed Afghan territory extends all the way to the Attic Bridge deep inside of Pakistan. And to be fair, all borders are imaginary lines for the most part, unless there's some major geographical feature. But this is not actually a new scenario for Afghanistan and Pakistan. They've been arguing about this for over a century. It just kind of took a back seat to the Soviets and then the US invading them. Now, the Durand Line was drawn by the British Empire in 1893, and at the time, unfairly split ethnic Pashtun communities. Today, nearly 3 times as many Pashtuns live in Pakistan than in Afghanistan. And Kabul believes those Pashtuns and their territory actually belong to Afghanistan. Now, this disagreement has unfortunately exploded into full-on violence, where skirmishes and small-scale attacks along the internationally recognized border have intensified into open conflict. I mean, we're talking artillery fire, airstrikes, and heavy weaponry, with both sides blaming the other for starting the fight. Now, this is partly caused by the geopolitical situation on the global stage impacting Afghanistan negatively. Over the past year, between 2 and 3.5 million Afghan refugees have been deported from places like Iran and Pakistan back into Afghanistan, and Afghanistan's infrastructure has no way of handling them. This problem is already piling on top of Afghanistan's economic collapse, food shortages, and weak central governance that is generally managed by self-interested tribal leaders. Now, on top of all of this, Pakistan is accusing the Taliban of harboring and supporting the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, or TTP, which is an anti-Pakistan militant group responsible for hundreds of terrorist attacks inside of Pakistan. Now, the Taliban denies involvement, but evidence clearly points to cooperation, as TTP leaders have appeared at public events in Kabul, and their fighters operate openly in the Kunar and Nangarhar provinces. Now, given the fact that Pakistan is technologically far more advanced than Afghanistan, it has launched cross-border airstrikes targeting TTP hideouts inside Afghanistan, with the Taliban calling those strikes a violation of their sovereignty. Problem is there's not really anything Afghanistan can do to counter Pakistan. A few months ago, Pakistan actually changed its rules of engagement regarding the TTP and began sweeping counterterrorism operations across the northwest border with Afghanistan. In response, TTP militants killed 11 Pakistani troops, and then, not to be outdone, more airstrikes hit actual Taliban positions, not just the TTP positions, which provoked a direct Taliban attack on Pakistani border posts. This is actually the most intense fighting between the two official militaries since the Taliban took over in Afghanistan in 2021. Now, a few weeks ago, Qatar and Turkey brokered a ceasefire, but it unraveled pretty quickly, with small-scale skirmishes continuing and the Taliban either unwilling or frankly unable to restrain TTP militants. On top of this, Saudi Arabia technically has a defense pact with Pakistan, so they could be called in to fight as well. China's involved as well because they hold major economic stakes in both countries, and India is now taking advantage of the chaos to pressure Pakistan. And unfortunately for the people of Afghanistan, these skirmishes have just added to the roughly 40 years of continuous war in that country. And based on what we're seeing right now, unfortunately, there's really no end in sight.